Good evening, everyone. This is Royce Miller coming back at you with yet another Let's Try, but also kind of rambly type thing. Tonight on the docket we have Olive Garden. When you're here, your family. Um, Olive Garden, one of the most iconic, uh, pseudo fancy places. Um, Make sure this is the, yep, that's the one thing, and then put that there. Um, anyway, one of the most iconic pseudo fancy restaurants, a chain restaurant, but a sit down restaurant with slightly more expensive foods and a little more interesting. But so what? This is not actually what we're going to be trying tonight. This is actually the remnants of what I had today, because I figure what we're going to do is we're going to do the Let's Try second. But first, I'm going to do a little ramble about their yearly special, the Unlimited Pasta Bowl. For $13.50, $17.50 if you want meat, you can have as many bowls of pasta as you can and fit down your gullet. So I grabbed my favorite sauce, meat, and noodle, and I'm going to describe each of them and describe all the interesting things in concert. Mm. Mm. I will say I am eating this cold. I did not bother reheating it. This is how I normally eat my leftovers. I don't reheat them very often. Anyway, so the pastas are normal spaghetti, angel hair, fettuccine, and rigatoni, which are kind of just like penne but sliced up. Then you have the sauces where things get a little more interesting. You have the marinara and Alfredo, both classics of the canon, or well, classics of both like traditional Italian cookery and also the Olive Garden specifically. Then there's this, which is the which is the 5 cheese marinara, which is more of a, almost like a vodka sauce where it's got some cream in it. It's very good. And you have the creamy mushroom, which is a creamy mushroom, which is very similar, which is just their Alfredo sauce with mushrooms, basically. It's also good. I'd say it's kind of the, well, not vegan, but vegetarian answer to the meat sauce, which is, it's literally just hamburger and pasta sauce. Mm. And then finally you have the meats. Your choices are meatball, Italian sausage, or crispy chicken. Which is this chicken frita. Mm. Now, I'm a sucker for a good piece of fried chicken. And also their Italian sausage is, it's just good Italian sausage. Like you get, like the raw Italian sausage you get at the store, and then you'd either cook on the grill or bake in the oven. Like, it's not like some Italian Nona's homemade recipe that's um, been passed down through the generations or whatever, where they hand grind their own meat, but it's good. It's just a traditional pork and beef sausage with Italian spices. But then you get to their meatballs. Now, this isn't the server's fault. This isn't the chef's fault. This isn't even Olive Garden's fault. Oops. Sorry. The texture of that meatball was bad. And I think why is because they Olive Garden is has to, they're a chain restaurant. They have to cut corners somewhere. So for their meatballs, they clearly use frozen. And that's all well and good, but if you don't cook the frozen hamburger is always tricky because you either cook it too much and it's dry as a bone, or you cook it too little and it's way too wet and mushy. I like a good crust on my meatballs. When my mom makes meatballs, when my grandma makes meatballs, both grandmas make meatballs, they do an excellent crust. Like when I was visiting my grandma Nancy a couple weeks ago, she made meatballs and they were so good. It saddens me I'm the only one in my family who enjoys her cooking, and well, she is getting too old for it, I guess. I don't know. I love you, Grandma. She's the one who watches my videos. Anyway. Oh, also, are you enjoying the new view? So as you know, I accidentally left my tripod at my grandma's, and I will go grab it eventually, but in the interim, my sister asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I mentioned a new tripod for my phone would be nice. So she sent me a luxury tripod with a microphone plug-in. Now, the plug-in is for an actual mic plug-in, one of those kind of graduated, those long, a normal amp plug-in like you'd find on any headphone. And my phone doesn't have that. It only has a micro USB port. But I have a transfer cable for that, so I should be able to get that up and running soon too. I just wanted to try out the actual apparatus itself, and it's very lovely. It's got this nice little, I do have it on a box just to keep it above the table, but it's got a very lovely field of view. Like, I'm more in frame now. Anyway, let's continue on to the let's try portion. And Halloween may be over, but fall is still among us. And so I have the Olive Garden pumpkin cheesecake. And yes, I'm going to use the fork I used for spaghetti. Don't judge me. Now this is a pumpkin cheesecake drizzled with caramel and added with a little bit of whipped cream, although the whipped cream has sadly deteriorated somewhat. That is good. That's just a classic cheesecake with just a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. Much better than the last pumpkin pie cheesecake I had. Has a little bit of that refrigerator taste to it because I stuck it in the fridge at work. But no, very good. Oh no, it could be because I had to set it out while I used the restroom. Look, someone who can't handle a lot of dairy went to a place that serves mostly dairy and got cheese on everything. In fact, I think there's a little cheese in this to-go container when I put the cheesecake in. Anyway, oh no, wait, this is cheese, huh? But anyway, My aunt, God bless her, once got a Cheesecake Factory pumpkin pie cheesecake for Thanksgiving. And I thought it tasted really funky because, like, I love pumpkin pie and I love cheesecake, but as a kid, I didn't think they were two flavors that should meet. However, this, I think part of the problem was because there was a lot of actual pumpkin in the cheesecake. I'm not sure, though. It might just been a bad cheesecake. But this, it's just pumpkin pie spice, I think. It's a very normal, it's a very normal texture. A little bit of grit because pumpkin pie spice. There are actual spices in it. And in fact, I'm pretty sure cinnamon is like some kind of bark. I'm sure Andy will fact check me. Speaking of which, thank you to Andy. I think, is it Andy at home? I do these in one take. Otherwise I would pause the video and go check on my BS. But he manages to help, clear any facts that I don't, or that I get wrong. The one problem with having this wait for me for 8 hours in the fridge is that one, all the whipped cream melted. Two, all the caramel drizzle kind of ebbed away and got absorbed into the cake or whatever. But it's got a lovely, lovely body. Although it kind of reminds me of like either masonry or one of those puffball mushrooms. It's creamy. It's got that autumnal spice. It almost tastes like a chai latte, which I think shares a lot of similar tastes and textures, similar tastes and spices as pumpkin pie spice. It's God. Now I'm thinking of Spider-Man. Oh Lord, I forget the name of that specific Spider-Man. But the Spider-Man, or is it Pavitier Parker from Into the Spider-Verse, where he's talking about or Across Spider-Verse, where he's talking about how it's not chai tea, it's just chai because chai means tea. But to be fair, Americans do use a lot of redundancy. ATM is an automatic teller machine, but we call it an ATM machine. What's your favorite redundant word? Sound off in the comments. I'm trying to think what mine is. Although any engineer will tell you, redundancies are a good thing. This was very good. So, let's see, I should probably round this off by quickly listing off what the best and worst of the pasta thing was. So, my favorite of all, let's see, so pasta, sauce, meat, yeah. My favorite of all three levels was angel hair pasta because I like a softer cook on my pasta. Which I know, everyone's like, oh, you have to have it al dente, but I grew up in a family where buttered noodles was such a recurring thing, and it was always overcooked. It was always, almost mush by the time you ate it. it's nostalgic to me. Also, I'm kind of I like soft foods, you know. Uh, then my favorite sauce was, despite the awful things that it did to me at both Olive Garden and then later at Walmart, and then at work. Like that's just how I was so dehydrated afterwards. And it sucks when you get to work exhausted. Um, anyway, with 5 cheese marinara, really good. And then of course it is a toss up because for the meat, I mean, it is a toss up because the that chicken, really good. But I gotta say, if I have the chicken, I think I'd want more of it. So I'd probably, if I wanted the chicken, I would probably just get the chicken parmesan because it's the same cutlet, same delicious breast. Very thin, crispy. It's so good. Like I know a lot of people make fun of Olive Garden now, but just a really nice, thin, crispy chicken cutlet is just perfect. And then yeah, and then for worst, I mean, I didn't have the rigatoni, but I just don't like. I like pastas I can twirl. I don't like stuff where it's falling off my fork. I actually did try to order the rigatoni. The waitress got it in wrong, but I didn't want to tell her because she was already doing so much for me. Um, uh, what was I gonna say? Oh, worst sauce of the ones I tried, probably the creamy mushroom, but like it's not terrible. It's just some of the mushrooms. I think they're dehydrated, and they're thrown into the to half the Alfredo to rehydrate or something like that. But some of them just have a really weird texture. But that's not like they're good mushrooms though. They are good mushrooms. They aren't like the gross canned mushrooms that my grandma will eat. Oh Lord, she'll sometimes get like my other grandma, not the grandma who watches my videos. Hi grandma again. But now my other grandma will get cans of mushrooms and they'll be so gross, but she just loves eating them with her steak and stuff. It's weird to me. Um, uh, but that's neither here nor there. That's purely a texture thing. I'd probably say overall, probably the regular marinara because, like, when you already have the meat sauce, which is just like a bolognese with, meat and marinara in it, and it was a really good meat sauce too, and also the 5 cheese marinara. The marinara just is. Why would you bother, right? Uh, I guess if you're lactose intolerant, because all the others are very lactose forward. Well, okay, lactose intolerant and vegan, because since the Alfredo's got cream and the meat sauce has well what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, although I do actually like, weirdly, I do like Olive Garden's Alfredo because it is very cheesy, and if you let it sit, it does coagulate, which was weird to me as someone who had grown up with canned or with jarred or like ragu Alfredo sauce. I'd never known Alfredo sauce was supposed to be like pure cheese and cream, so it could coagulate. Really good stuff. And then the worst meat item obviously is the meatball. Like even if it were a crispy, like really good meatball, it's still comparing to just a big Italian sausage link and a sliced up chicken, fried piece of fried chicken, and that's really hard to beat. As for the pumpkin cheesecake, is it better than the tiramisu? I don't know. I haven't had the tiramisu. Again, I don't order desserts that much. I just got that because it was a fall item. But it was good. It was good. Like, you won't regret ordering it. I mean, you might regret the price. It was like $8, but, desserts are always pricey at sit-down places like Olive Garden. Anyway, One day I will highlight Olive Garden's, like, the things I love from Olive Garden, which would be the calamari and the tour of Italy, but that is way down the line. They're so busy right now, I don't know why. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today. You all have a good one. This is Royce Miller. I'm out. And thanks to my sister for buying me this tripod. Bye-bye.